Hello, welcome back to another episode of Redefining the Word. Today we're gonna talk about love, its challenge, beauty, and why sometimes the best thing you can do is stop searching for it. If you are feeling lost in your pursuit of love or questioning whether it's worth it, this episode is for you. I'll share my journey of stepping back from chasing love and the surprising lessons I've learned about patience, growth, and connections. Let's dive in. Alright, let me tell you about how I used to be a hopeless romantic. I would dream of love stories that would sweep me off my feet. But over time, I learned that love isn't about constantly searching for someone to fill a void. Instead, it's about knowing yourself, being ready, and trusting that when the right person comes, you will know. After my last breakup in 2019, I spent 4 years focusing on myself. I didn't look for a rebound or rush into something new. When I felt healed, after a year or two, I met new people, but ultimately trusted my intuition to guide me. I turned down fleeting romance because deep down I knew the right persons had not arrived yet. I focused on living life for myself, studying, traveling, and growing. And one day, unexpectedly, I met someone. In that moment, I realized love doesn't come from chasing. It comes when you are ready to embrace it fully. And of course, when love comes, there will be challenges that you have to face. Anything is always easier said than done. I remember there this one song that kept replaying in my head. I think it's called Older by Sasha Alex Sloan. It's about my parents aren't here. They just like me. And loving is hard. It don't always work. You just try your best not to get hurt. Something goes like that. Loving is hard. Especially when you have to understand that loving someone deeply isn't about chasing or controlling. It's about embracing vulnerability, letting go of expectations, and finding joy in the act of giving. A lesson I've learned from my grandparents who share a long, happy marriage is that love without possessions. I think I mentioned it in my first episode of the Redefining podcast, but I want to pinpoint it again. Love can die when we start owning somebody. When we start to feel like we already have someone, it's easy for us to take them for granted. And we stop giving in the effort we used to put in the beginning to understand each other and to care for each other. True love flourishes when it's being nurtured. It's like we water our plants daily for it to grow. Allowing it to grow without controlling it, without having to make it a certain way. Allowing it to be imperfect, just the way we are. Another lesson is giving without expectations. I still sometimes fall into the trap of wanting something from the other, but more often I've learned to give love wholeheartedly now. Not because I expect something in return, but because I truly feel the joy of giving. Love isn't a transaction, it's a gift. I think this mindset goes a long way. It helped me approach love with an open heart, free from judgment or resentment. I've learned to forgive, to accept, and to love people for who they are, not who I want them to be. As I grew up, I realized that love isn't something you chase. It's something you prepare for. When you are content with who you are, you no longer depend on someone else to bring excitement or meaning into your life. Instead of seeking novelty in a new relationship, you learn to create it in your own experience. Love becomes a beautiful addition to your life, not the only source of your happiness. The most magical part of love isn't marriage or any grand milestones. It's really the quiet, profound feeling of coming home to your persons. That sense of belonging, that rare connections with someone who feels like your safe space is worth waiting for. And in order to get to that phase of feeling so, anyone in the relationship must navigate the test of love. We understand that every relationship goes through seasons. One of the most challenging is when the initial spark fades and the relationship becomes quieter, somewhat more stable, less fun, I guess. After the honeymoon phase, love often feels less intense. You might wonder if you've fallen out of love or if the relationship has lost its magic. But this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a deeper, more meaningful connections. This phase tests your ability to grow together. It's not easy. It often involves misunderstandings, conflicts, or even moments of doubt. Many people give up during this time, thinking the relationship has run its course. But walking away every time things get hard only leads to a cycle of starting over. True love requires patience, effort, and the willingness to work through challenges together. If you are feeling unsure about your relationships or struggling to stay connected, perhaps take a moment to reflect on why you chose each other in the first place. Take time for yourself, a break from each other to see how much the other meant to you. What made you believe in this love? What brought you guys together? Love isn't about avoiding conflict or never feeling bored. It's about showing up even when it's hard and remembering the reasons you guys started this journey together. If you are apart from someone you love right now, trust that time has a way of bringing clarity. When both people are ready, and when you've grown and matured, love has a way of finding its way back. The most beautiful part of love is that it's never perfect. It's a process of growing, learning, and discovering together. The less you chase an ideal of love, the more you open yourself to the kind of love that's truly meant to be. So just take your time. Focus on becoming a better version of yourself, being prepared to embrace fully love as it comes. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If this message resonated with you, share with someone who might need a reminder to trust in the timing of love. Until next time, take care.